If I start telling people about hell, I might. If I start telling people about hell, I might just scare them off. Where are you going to scare them off to? Hell number 2? Or are you just going to sit there and let them burn?
Hey, this is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. We are live today on. Hold on. Now we have a technical issue. Hold on here. All right, let me check this out, see what's going on. I think I have my window here open on YouTube. There we go. Silence that. All right, so for those that are not pretty much familiar with this channel, we cover a lot of topics, and these are the segments. We have Spirit Behind the Music. We have a Paranormal Shift. We have Reign of the Tech, Hollywood Matrix, Apocalypse News and Updates, Codex Explained, Game Invaders, Deception, The Road to Disclosure, which is tied to my documentary, Superheroes and Gods, Amazing Machinations, and that's an evil plot for those that don't know, The Political Edge, Symbolic Realm, where we discuss symbols, and there we go, full 360, right? And here's my face. This is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Welcome to the program. This is Reign of the Tech, episode 9, and today we're going to be talking about transhumanism, and we're also going to be talking about hybrids. Just a little more transhumanism than hybrids, but just to let you know, I was featured on a documentary called Hybrid Super Soldiers and the Coming Genetic Apocalypse, and this talk right here is tied to that. I also put out a song. It's called Genetic Apocalypse, and it's with my daughter. And so before we get into the whole program, I'm going to show you that music video, if I can ever get this thing straight over here, and so that you can get a feel for what we're going to be talking about tonight. It's heavy. For those that have not heard this subject before, you might find it far-fetched, but it's not. You might find it just super incredible, or you might be, familiar with the subject, and I might add a piece of the puzzle for you. I'm going to be talking about some entertainment issues and then dive into some real world issues. So I don't want to lose you on the entertainment aspect, but you're going to see some parallels. And this is not similar. Well, this is similar, but it's not the same presentation that I gave on The Hidden Day or on Through the Black. It's similar, but not the same, not exactly the same. Okay. So first I want to get into the music video so we can get that out of the way. And here we go.
Genetic apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse.
Total collapse in the genome curse, but they were reborn in this storm to transform humanity's norm. So we calling all humans refusing transhumans. The only way out is Jesus, please stop refusing the truth. Sin is the root, humanity's proof. Why you collaborate with devils and subverting the truth? The rash is imminent. First trans delivery, genetic Armageddon, synchronizing the death. The pit of hell is blown wide open as the seal of the Lamb of God, terrifying locals. You can't escape the curse, make it worse for you all the carbon. Gene totally formed where the God is a fire warning. You may not reign.
Can you guys hear the video? I hope so.
Vaccines and medicines, analysis, cocktail, reverse the genesis. Now you promote the rise of the super soldiers. The Lord is watching as the harbor scene is almost over. Didn't you know the drones flying high over? You were mistaken. The Cold War, it ain't over. GMOs increase disease. Listen, secret cloning, please believe. It's a reality you can't perceive. Imagine humans mixed with animals, creatures and seas. It's a
Genetic apocalypse. 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 Jesus is coming back soon.
That's right.
Yeah, be ready. He's coming back. I'm telling you, he's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. Jesus is coming back. This is a warning. Please just listen. This is a warning. He's coming back.
All right. That didn't go as planned, but all right. So this music video you can find on my channel, Hurricane 7. Right? Go over to YouTube and type in Hurricane 7 or Genetic Apocalypse, and you'll find the song on our channel, my channel, actually. So that was my daughter singing there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me correctly? I hope so, because it's me alone tonight, so I don't have anybody here to help me with the sound and everything. I'm not sure why you couldn't hear the video, but maybe I'll play it at the end again. Let me check some sound issues here. I think I know why. This is probably why. All right. Let me see something here. All right. Tell me if you can hear it right now, okay? Can you hear that? All right.
Apocalypse. Apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse.
Yeah.
Genetic apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse.
Come on.
Genetic apocalypse.
Total collapse in the genome, cursed, but then we're reborn in this storm. They transform humanity's norm, so we calling all humans refusing transhumans. The only way out is Jesus, please stop refusing the truth. Sin is the root, humanity's proof. Why you collaborate with devils, introverting the truth. The rapture is imminent, thirst trans deliberate, genetic Armageddon, synchronizing your death. The pit of hell is blown wide open as the seal of the Lamb of God terrifies locals. You can't escape the curse, make it worse. You alter carbon, genes totally foreign. Word of God is your final warning. You made an error, engineering chimeras, worse than the nightmares from Frankenstein's era. The mirror is like a glimpse in the abyss, a warning of mankind. Genetic apocalypse.
Genetic apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse. Genetic apocalypse.
The rise of the mark of the beast, genetics unleashed. The horror of the new world is ordered in these. Because small and great, rich and poor, you might be free or caught in bondage, but you won't be ignored. As Apollyon is rising, better cry to the Lord. Let's seem demonic chords impact and leave you in sores. Flashback to the present, vaccines and medicines, a nemesis cocktail, reverse the genesis. Now you promote the rise of the super soldiers. The Lord is watching as the harbor scene is almost over. Didn't you notice the drones flying high over? You were mistaken. The Cold War, it ain't over. GMOs increase disease. Listen, secret cloning, please believe. It's a reality you can't perceive. Imagine humans mixed with animals, creatures and seas. It's a
genetic apocalypse. 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 Genetic apocalypse.
Come on.
Jesus is coming back soon.
That's right.
Yeah. Be ready, he's coming back. I'm telling you, he's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. Jesus is coming back. This is a warning. Please just listen.
Yeah.
This is a warning. He's coming back.
All right. So I directed the video. I wrote the song, and my daughter performed with me, and there we have it. So it's connected to hybrid super soldiers and the coming genetic apocalypse. You can get that on getlifemedia.com, but I'm going to show you where you can live stream it, and then we'll get into the content for tonight in a minute. Give me a second here as I pull up this screenshot for you guys. Get rid of the video, and here we are. So there it is. Pretty much this is all about the hybrids of super soldiers and the coming genetic apocalypse. This is not my documentary, but I'm featured in there with Carl Tycrib, another geneticist. Can't remember her name right now. What's the other lady's name? Let's see here. We have Jan Markell was on there as well. So it's going down to history. It's going into the genetic manipulation, the cloning, resurrecting, all these. It's 31 hours in this documentary, and I just highly recommend that you pick it up however you can, whether it's physical media or streaming here. See, this is where I'm featured right here, Super Soldiers, and interview with Chris Taylor. So I'm right there. So you guys know I'm not making this up, right? So, and then it goes into transhumanism with Carl Tycrib, and how to escape the apocalypse. And then the last interview is with Anna Marie Pasqualone. She's a geneticist. She's the one pretty much that told us that for you not to be human anymore, pretty much you change your DNA 1% or your genetics 1%, and you're not as you were born. So most of us have been changed already. So there it is, hybrid super soldiers and the coming genetic apocalypse, right? So hope you guys are ready for this one. I'm going to go through some of the entertainment aspects and then get into some of the, real life genetic aspects. Okay. So as I pull my screen, my PowerPoint over here, we're going to go back from the PowerPoint to the websites, I should say. But before that, I forgot to tell you guys, if this is your first time, check us out on Parler. We joined there a long time ago, but everybody's catching on to Parler now, and it's what's this? Okay, yeah, there we go. At Don't Let Them Burn. That's it. At Don't Let Them Burn. Just like Twitter. Okay, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, but we're slowly migrating from those platforms because they're just censoring everybody. And also, this is our store. Don't Let Them Burn. You can go to dontletthemburn.com. You can come here. Any way you can support the channel, it's all pretty much welcomed. This is, I'm going to be on William Ramsey's show on the 16th, and we're going to be talking about this COVID-19, the Great Reset. I'm not showing the screen. Sorry about that, guys. Still getting used to this stuff. So Parler, Don't Let Them Burn. This is the store. Just go to teespring.com. And you'll find the store, Don't Let Them Burn. All right, so William Ramsey on the 16th, I'll be there talking about the Great Reset, COVID-19 by this Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum. That's not the topic for tonight, but I'm just telling you, on the 16th, I'll be on William Ramsey's channel. Now, as we get into what we're going to talk about tonight, it's everything dealing with transhumanism and a hybrid situation. So a lot of us have pretty much watched a lot of science fiction. We've read comic books. We've seen action movies. Even some comedy has this stuff in it, right? And you got to wonder, why is the human race marching towards this pretty much changing humans into something else, right? And I mean, what is transhumanism? You're transcending something For those that believe in evolution, evolution is the big plot when it comes to this transhumanism stuff. You also find it in Hinduism, where it's the reincarnation or you're ascending to godhood. This is called the apotheosis. You could look up George Washington and the apotheosis, and you'll see some things. Okay, I didn't have that screenshot tonight because I have a lot to get through. So again, we're in a post-Christian world where people are ready to accept this stuff, right? And you see these little things over here, they're called tardigrades, and we're going to talk about that tonight a little bit. And so we're in a post-Christian world pretty much, and transhumanism is a big factor today. Even though we don't see it when we walk outside of our house, it's a big movement, right? People like Ray Kurzweil and others, Elon Musk, a bunch of people that are mostly technocrats. They want to transfer the consciousness of man into something else. Okay, so from transhumanism, you go to posthumanism, which is obvious that posthuman means that you've transcended humankind, and now you're living in a posthuman world where everybody thinks they're a god, or they have superpowers, or they're super soldier. You can go down the line of all that information. But this is what's in the documentary, right? And I'm going to cover a little bit of the stuff in the documentary, but this is pretty much to show you a few things that I didn't get to cover in the documentary because we ran out of time. And so we're going to get into superhumans that are transhuman. We're going to start off with Captain America. And I'm not going to spend too much time on Captain America, but he is the poster boy in the comic books for transhumanism. And pretty much he was given a serum through the experiments going on there in the 1940s. And I mean, of course, this is fiction, but it bears some results on reality. And so he doesn't age, at least he doesn't age fast. Let's put it that way. And his muscles and everything, they get damaged, but they get repaired very quickly. He could break his bones, and a couple minutes from now, he's healed. So he is the poster boy for super soldiers and transhumanism. So you've seen the movies, I think. Well, a lot of us have seen the movies. They made billions of dollars off these Marvel movies. So I suppose a lot of us have already seen these movies. But if you haven't, then I think you could check those out. They're not full of the stuff I would not recommend. So the next person is Iron Man. So Iron Man is pretty much a guy in a metal suit. And what you hear in the technological community is that you wear your phone, or you wear suits, or you put a wearable on your body. It's all outside the body, but soon it's going to be inside the body, and it's all an extension of you, just like Iron Man suit is an extension of him, right? It's like another character, to tell you the truth. That's what the suit is. And Iron Man in the Marvel movies, for those that don't know, he is like a Messiah, Jesus Christ figure, but every time you see that, it's usually the Antichrist figure. And so as we go here, we see like a Last Supper meal in the poster. And, in Catholicism, where they have that heart in the chest of the fake Jesus, that's what we have here in Tony Stark's chest, and all the Avengers around him. Interesting when I found this. I'm going to go to a website really quick so I could tell you about the next phase of what Iron Man is going to become. And that's an AI, right? I don't know if they're going to bring this in the movies, but I would think so, since Robert Downey Jr. is still alive, and he won't have to play a major part in the movie. But this is the next step. We all saw him die in Endgame, but here we are. He's an artificial intelligence. So transhumanism also goes into where you can transfer your consciousness into a robot, into a hologram, into a clone. I'm not saying all of this is going to happen. I'm telling you, this is their plans. These are their plans. In fact, let me go really quick to something I failed to bring up, and I usually bring this up a lot so people could see that I'm not making this stuff up. And here we go. This is 2045.com initiative, and this is their plans right here. You have from 2015 to 2020, a robotic copy of a human body, remotely controlled via BCI. Then it goes to 2020 to 2025, an avatar in which a human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. 2030 to 2035, an avatar with an artificial brain in which a human personality is transferred at the end of one's life. And then all the way up to 2045, we have a hologram like avatar. So for those of you that are pretty much into your Bibles, it reminds us of the image of the beast that people will worship. When it comes to the mark of the beast, it's going to be, you have his mark, you have the image of the beast, and you have the number of his name, 666, right? So if 666 is the number of a man, not the number of a computer or a cell phone or anything else that people are trying to attribute to it. The Bible is clear, it's the number of a man, right? Now, this is not the mark of the beast, but it reminds me of the image of the beast. So Ray Kurzweil, for those that don't know, he said that 2045, they could probably reach their milestone earlier. And there's a thing out there called Agenda 2030 that goes along with this as well, right? So I wanted to show you that when you go on this website, see, I'm not showing you the video. This video, see this, check out this video, especially if you're a skeptic. Check out the video, and it's I think it's like 20 minutes long, and it shows you exactly where they want to go with this. They want robots in everyone's house. They want people's consciousness transferred so that they become gods and all this stuff. So and they have a lot of great articles on here about artificial intelligence and how it's going to change your life. They have, you know, the movie Transformers. They have transforming robots right now, but they're miniature. They're very small, and they don't even look like a humanoid like in the movies and the TV show, okay, or the cartoon, I should say. So you're going to find a lot of interesting articles on here. We're not going to cover all that tonight. See, like this one, it says the Walkman robot can go places too dangerous for humans. They're coming. Okay, this is what my music video is about. This type of stuff and where it's going to go. You see here, Google's quantum computing breakthrough, our new chip, all that quantum computing, all of it converges somewhere. And you want to pay attention as we move forward past these elections and the global reset, COVID-19. And so these humanoid robots, or this one isn't weaponized, but they have weaponized robots coming. And that's included in another documentary that my pastor did called, oh my goodness, Skynet is coming. I forgot the first part of the title. My brain is all over the place right now. But anyway, they're coming. And in fact, they're already here. Okay. So going back to Tony Stark, he's going to become an artificial intelligent being. It says here, this AI of Tony Stark was created by the super genius inventor himself as a backup in case his body no longer worked, so his essence could be preserved. A device containing the AI Stark was shipped in Riri Williams, a child prodigy who had caught Stark's attention. So the AI could serve as a mentor to her. The AI most notably assisted Riri in the creation of her second armor and come up with his superhero alias Iron Heart, right? So that's Tony Stark, Iron Man, and all that. So I'm leaving a lot out because we have a lot of ground to cover, but I'm just going to show you a pattern that exists within sci-fi, within comic books. And a lot of these movies nowadays are actually based on comic books, believe it or not. And some of the sci-fi writers, we'll get to one of them in a few minutes, okay? So next we have Black Lightning. And I watched, I think I watched the first and maybe the second season of this show. There's a lot of race baiting, but that's not the topic for tonight. But he originally is able to control lightning In the TV shows, this suit gives him the ability, but in the comic books, it's a natural ability, and this is still a part of transhumanism. Remember that these suits will give you abilities, or they'll uh, use nanotechnology to give you these abilities. And I'm not saying everybody's going to walk around like a superhero. I'm not stretching it too far, but when I've heard people talk in certain documentaries, they talk about your flesh will be able to turn into metal and all sorts of weird stuff that you see in the comic book. So I'm not making this stuff up. I've just seen enough talks about this to where I want to bring it to you guys. And of course, hopefully you'll go get that documentary because it's very important and you'll be shocked at the stuff in there. I mean, goodness gracious, man. So anyway, that's Black Lightning. And I could talk for hours about what's in the TV show, but that's not the topic for tonight. So now we have Bloodshot that came out, when was that? March 13th, right around the time of the bear virus. And again, you see this motif of the light in the chest, which reminds me of the fake Jesus in Catholicism. I'm not sure if that's why they did it, because this comes from a comic book and I've never read the comic book, but that's what it reminds me of. Okay. But anyway, his body is full of nanotechnology that pretty much makes him invulnerable. Okay. At one part in the movie near the end, you see these particles that are coming out of his flesh or whatnot. Though they get so abundant that he could his whole body could be disassembled and reassembled, and it was crazy. But I'm not even saying that's going to happen. This is a movie. It's Hollywood, but the thoughts that go into these films are usually researched. Okay, but that's Bloodshot. It wasn't that great a movie, but if you want to check it out, be my guest. Sorry guys if I miss any of your questions. Let me see here. All right, so next we have the Vision, this guy right here, for those that don't know, and we have Scarlet Witch, and she is a witch. She's the daughter of Magneto from the X-Men, but they don't play that up in the Marvel movies because the X-Men aren't a part of the Marvel universe as of yet, because Fox owned the characters. Was it Fox? Yeah, I think it was Fox. Yeah, Fox. Anyhow, so a little bit about Vision. He's not real. He's an artificial intelligence. He's made up of 5 personalities: Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Jarvis, the stone in his head here, which is alive, and which is a third eye, by the way, and also Ultron. So 5 personalities, and in the movie he calls himself I Am. Okay, so does Ultron. So these things are looked at as gods, as are the superheroes, because most of them are not human. Okay, they've either were born that way or they transcended humanity in another way, right? And before I go further, I missed out on something. I need to go back. All right, this is Tony Stark here. This is that. All right, so about his suit. Sorry about that, guys. I have to go back here. This one is from Infinity War. So what happens with Tony Stark and his suit in the comic book? He puts these nanotech dots on his body, and the suit is now a part of him. Remember I told you it goes from the exterior to the interior, and he's using nanotechnology. It's not shown here in this picture, but in the Infinity War, he pulls a string and then the suit just comes out of nowhere. It's like it's coming out of his clothes or his body. Either way, it's still the same concept. So this says Tony Stark's 50th armor marked the penultimate step towards perfecting his greatest creation. Since it's based on nanotechnology, it features a basically endless and only dependent on Tony's creativity. It can materialize and reshape itself in a matter of seconds, creating a wide variety of missiles, thrusters, cannons, blades, hammers, shields, wings, freezing spray, and even glass. The design is the sleekest of all Iron Man suits and mimics Tony's body. It also has the ability to fly into deep space without any damage. Now, as I'm reading here, I'm telling you, all day I was having problem putting this presentation together. And now something's coming to me that I need to bring up really quick. Did you know that Obama, when he was in office, let's see, Obama Iron Man suit, he pretty much, I don't know, I don't know if it's DARPA or one of these other research agencies that's building the suit, but I'm going to show you proof for those that don't believe what I'm saying. They're making an Iron Man suit, okay? And let's see here. Let's go to one of these leftist sites. Let's see. Obama jokes about creating Iron Man, but military is already doing so. Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay, Obama jokes about creating Iron Man, but military is already doing it. So the real life is mimicking art. That's one way to look at it. But remember, a lot of this stuff, people research this stuff. What is the future tech? What's coming? I don't know if Stanley or whoever created Iron Man knew about this in the past, but you also don't leave out the spiritual aspect either. Sometimes these writers are contacting spirits and they put some stuff in here. So I don't know the truth behind that, but what I'm telling you is when you go back to a lot of sci-fi and then you see today the things that are in those books 30, 40, 50 years ago, or however long, you're like, how did they know this? They didn't know. You know, technology is going to lead us a certain way, right? And let's see, President Obama dropped quite the news at a press conference this Tuesday. Basically, he said, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man. So it was already in the works. Let's see here. Called the Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit Talos, the U.S. Army announced work on it last May. This was in 2014. Let's see, and said it was hoping to have an initial suit within a year, with an eye toward potentially having it on the field within 3. So this could possibly be working already. We'll never see it until we see it because the military obviously is going to have an application before that. So it's called Talos. Remember that. You can go check this article out. It's on theverge.com. And there are other articles as well. You don't have to go to this website. So let's see where we were here. We were at this. All right. So in Avengers Endgame, Tony Stark spent the 5 years after, for those that know the movie, when Thanos did the snap, 5 years passed and the story picked up. Okay. And so polishing his ultimate suit, which resulted in the mark, I don't even know what number that is, 30, 50 something, I don't know, perfectly resembling the classic look of Steve Ditko's comic book illustration. Tony's final armor blends the Mark L's, or 50 or whatever it was, sneakness and nanotechnology with a visibly more molecular and stronger design. Not only does this model perfect all of the previous features, it also manages to be mighty enough to withstand an all-out fight with Thanos and harness the power of all 6 Infinity Stones. With this suit, Iron Man proudly retires from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, for a little context here, the Infinity Stones, again, this thing called the apotheosis, Thanos used the Infinity Stones to become like a god. And Iron Man did the same thing to reverse the effects of the snap. So the ideas are there, but they're not defined for you. You're just amazed by the lights and the special effects and the acting or whatever. Okay. So as we move back to back to these two. All right. Now in the comic book, these two actually are married. They have relations together, and we're going to bring up some articles in a second that proves that man is making artificial sperm, flesh, skin, blood, that so that humans and robots can actually mate and have children together. I know it sounds weird. I get it. I get it. But it's actually moving forward. So there's a TV show coming called WandaVision, which might lead up to a storyline called The House of M, where this witch is so powerful that she changes reality. Okay. And this is it's going to be like a sitcom sort of thing on Disney Plus. Okay. So up here you see those that look like devil horns. That outfit resembles the outfit she had in the comic books. Okay. And so anyway, he's an artificial intelligence. He looks human right here, and he actually does that in the movies as well. So she's going to transcend into something else later. Okay. Let me bring up a few articles here that reflect what I'm trying to tell you that will happen. Let me see here. Okay. Now, when I said it will happen, I mean they have plans and they're not backing down from it. Whoever these people are, I'm not talking about necessarily, XYZ secret society or whatever. It's just humankind wants to move towards this stuff. Okay. And I need you to remember, because we're gonna cover some even more crazy stuff as we go on in Reign of the Tech. Okay. All right. So let me see here. Synthetic sperm. All right. For whatever reason, my internet wants to go slow when I'm broadcasting. I was bringing up a ton of articles, man, but I'm going to cover some programs that I wasn't even going to cover in the documentary. So we'll get to those in a minute, but I want to bring up this. Let's see here. All right, there goes a good one. I'm just going to basically show some of the headlines. I'm not going to go into all of these articles because we'll be here for 3 hours, and I want to make this one a little shorter today. I'll try anyway. So this article from the Irish Times, could artificial sperm mean the end of men? All right. Let's see here. I don't want to go through a whole story. That's it. The use of artificial intelligence. Okay. One thing I want to tell you guys is we can't talk about hybrids and transhumanism and posthumanism without talking about artificial intelligence. They're all interlocked. No matter how you try to separate it, it comes right back to artificial intelligence. Okay. So it says the use of artificial intelligence in fertility labs to assess an embryo's likelihood of becoming a baby could prove truly revolutionary. Right. So they're going to use these technologies like CRISPR, which is a quantum leap in genetics right now. And people all over the world are using CRISPR to create whatever they're trying to create, right? Let's see. Cryopreservation or ovarian tissue or simply ovary freezing is one of the range of pioneering treatments that has given new hope to women. They always give you the good and never the bad, okay? And even prepubescent girls who are worried about preserving their fertility, unlike egg freezing, it has a potential to restore the ovarian and endocrine function and reset the entire female reproductive cycle, reversing menopause in women such as what's that, Al Matrushi. Anyway, check this article out because we're moving on this slippery slope from going to natural things to things that are not natural. Scientists have made the best artificial sperm yet. This is from Science Alert. And they're breeding mice with it. Scientists have used embryonic stem cells to grow the most effective test tube sperm cells ever, demonstrating how they can be used to fertilize mouse eggs and produce healthy, fertile offsprings. Now, remember, they're starting with animals and they will move to humans. This is from 2016. Okay. Until now, researchers have struggled to prove that they have pushed cells through an important but complicated dividing process that leaves cells with only half of the father's chromosome. And speaking of all that, with the DNA has two strands, they're trying to add a third strand, which will be totally artificial, of course. So that's another story as well. So that's 2 articles right there talking about artificial sperm and will men be irrelevant? But the problem is with some of these societies and these technocrats, women are actually going to become the one that are irrelevant if we get that far. If we get that far. And this is seen in a movie, not a movie, but a show called Fringe, where, look it up really quick for you guys. Fringe was a TV show, and I didn't mean to go here tonight, but it's important to mention it for those that have actually seen it. You understand that they used the Twin Towers in that movie and to go to parallel universes or whatever, and that goes into some secret society stuff. But Fringe, there were some people in there. I can't remember what they are right now, but they were like watchers, and they came from the future. And in the future, I didn't see any women. I can't remember it clearly because I saw this years ago. It was a really good show, but it had a lot of occult science in there. And we're going to get to occult science in a minute as well. But there were hardly any women in the future, and they used tech to do whatever they wanted to. And they had a special child that wasn't fused with all this tech, and they wanted to kill him. And it was just a total crazy looking future with these watcher looking types. But the reason why they even looked like how they looked, if I can even find any right now on this. Oh, here's one. Observers. See, watchers, observers, same thing, right? And the reason why they look the way they look is because technology is in the back of their head. It's like sort of like a reverse mark of the beast type thing. And they pretty much could come in and out of dimensions. Okay, so Fringe is a crazy show. It's not something I wouldn't recommend, but just be careful. The subject matter is pretty all over the place when it comes to stuff that you don't understand when it comes to the occult or whatever. But anyway, as we move, that's the sperm, right? And so let's see. Robots and humans having sex or making babies, having babies. Let's say babies. Now that I'm talking to you guys, my brain is flowing here. I had a hard time today, man. But anyway, let's see. Robot and humans, babies. Let's see here. I bought this up on another show. Let's see. AI is transforming. Find robots. Robot babies. Let's see what this says. This is Smithsonian. Okay, here's another one. All right. So you see, I'm not making this stuff up. Robot babies. Can scientists build a machine that learns as it goes and plays well with others? Now, this is just robot babies, right? This is from Smithsonian Magazine. I've never read this article, so I can't tell you exactly what's in it, but you see the headline. Now, this one here, robots and humans will have babies and create a new hybrid species in the next 100 years, claims expert. Okay. You remember the movie called Blade Runner? For those that don't know, I'm going to show you Blade Runner. All right, so you had Blade Runner from I believe the 80s, and by Ridley Scott. Harrison Ford started. It's pretty much a story about a human having sex with a robot and them having a baby. That's where 2049 comes in. Blade Runner 2049 came out a few years ago, okay? That's what the story's about. I have a review of this movie I did with Tom Dunn and Jared Cressman from Through the Black. You need to check out that review. We expose a lot of stuff in there, okay? So we're just showing you that it's in the entertainment, and now what's happening? It's coming out in real life, right? Let's see what some of this article says. Robot babies. Dr. Levy's predictions are based on research from Ohio State University, where scientists developed a nanotechnology-based chip that can successfully inject genetic code into skin cells the chip processes, this chip process known as tissue nano transfection (TNT) will allow the genetic code of a robot to be passed on to its offspring along with human genetic code, according to Dr. Levy. I just told you about a third strand in the DNA, right? Here it is. And that goes into the occult as well. He said, suddenly, the very real possibility has appeared on the horizon of the robots of the future, manipulating human skin cells to create human sperm and human eggs. And from them, using the Ohio discovery of TNT as the basis, creating an entire human baby whose embryo can be nurtured and carried through pregnancy by a mother surrogate. This is how I believe it will be possible within the foreseeable future for humans and robots to make babies together. See, I'm not lying. Yeah, it's weird stuff. I get it, crazy science fiction stuff. But right now, if you do a lot of research on this stuff, pretty much the real world is better than science fiction at this point, because the lines have already been blurred, and we're crossing over into that time frame now where these things are possible. And if you look at Moore's law about technology doubling and whatnot, this stuff it's coming rapidly. I mean, it's not an overstatement either. Okay, so I'm going to leave this subject now so that you're seeing that. Oh, let me look up a few other things for you. Let's see. Synthetic blood. All right. So let's see here. Artificial blood. I don't know what this website is, but let's see. Oh, this is the NIH. Hello. This is NIH, right? Artificial blood. You got abstract. Artificial blood is a product made to act as a substitute for red blood cells, while true blood serves many different functions. Artificial blood is designed for the sole purpose of transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout the body. Depending on the type of artificial blood, it will be produced in different ways, using synthetic production, chemical isolation, and recombinant biological technology. Development of the first blood substitute dates back to the early 1600s, and the search for the ideal blood substitute continues. Various manufacturers have products in clinical trials. However, no truly safe and effective artificial blood product is currently marked. It is anticipated that when an artificial blood product is available, it will have annual sales of over 7.6 billion in the United States alone. One of the things that reason I'm bringing this up is because when we talk about robots looking like us and whatnot, we have that happening, but now to make it real, let's get some artificial blood in there. Let's get some artificial skin on there. I mean, skin that feels human and probably even grows hair. Those sort of things are being talked about. That's why I'm trying to tell you, watch the documentary. Oh my goodness. Let's see, synthetic skin. I'll even go further and say synthetic skin for robots. Let's see if we come up with the right type of articles here. Let's see. Top AI system. That's an ad. Scientists make artificial skin for robotic androids. This is 2020. All right, let's see what this says. And let's go here to this one. Robotics of tomorrow. All right, so scientists make artificial skin for robots, taking us one step closer to a world of androids. All right. So you see it there. This is from Fake News Network, CNBC. And let's see, robots can outthink humans, but can they understand what it is to be human? And we see this in the TV shows. I covered a lot of this on Through the Black and on Hidden Day in my presentation. So I'm not going to go read. I have a lot of ground to cover, so I don't want to read all of this. But they're doing it is what I'm trying to show you. They're doing it. And here's another one: robotics tomorrow, artificial skin for robots. All right, robots are becoming more human-like. Remember, they have to humanize the robot and dehumanize humans. Okay, so what does transhumanism do? It dehumanizes humans, and the people that are not on board are going to have big problems. Okay, and the Bible says that men's hearts will fail them for the things coming upon the world. Okay, and this could be a part of it. They are getting artificial intelligence, flexibility, and human appearances. Now, the researcher from UCLA and the University of Washington implanted flexible sensors into artificial skin, which and extended over robotic fingers and prosthetics to improve a robot's ability to feel. See, I'm not making it up. So, we already have movies like TV shows like Humans and others that people are, pretty much copulating with these fake humanoids that are robots. So we're gonna go to some weird areas as we move on in future. So let me get back to where I was. Boom, WandaVision. All right, so we covered that. So next, I want to go to what's called The Island. Now, The Island is a movie that came out a while back, in I believe either the late 90s or early 2000s. And it's pretty much The Island is a virtual, not virtual, well, technically virtual. It's in these mountains here that you see, right? And it's underground. And these people, they think they're going to an island when they win the lotto, and they have the mind of children because they've been force grown in labs, and they were actually grown in like plastic bags. That's the best way to put it. And the elites were using them to organ harvest, which is going on in the world right now, as far as organ harvesting. And these people, they're running because they're after them to get them back to the lab to get their organs housed. He is a clone. This guy right here is a clone of a rich guy, and I can't remember who she's a clone of, but this guy is definitely a clone of some wealthy guy with a yacht and whatnot. And so this has to do with transhumanism as well, because humanity wants to live forever. We have a way out through Jesus Christ, but most of the world is not taking that, and we want to do it our own way on the planet as we move into a dystopian future. So we harvest organs from our clones. And imagine now you have a clone that looks exactly like you, but is much healthier. It's grown in a couple of days, and you could transfer your brain into that clone. That's the reverse of what's going on here. Just imagine what could happen, So this is not far-fetched at all. It's happening. And I want to point out this poster right here. You have been chosen. Now, there's something in the occult realm and others called chosen ones. Okay, well, it pretty much parallels. It's the antithesis of what God does with us when He chooses us, and the Holy Spirit calls us, and we are taken out of this world system and born again. So this one, you are brought into the world system through some occult mean, and all sorts of bad stuff happen to people that are chosen ones. Okay. And sometimes it's an antichrist figure, and on and on and on. Okay. All right. As we move, we have this movie, Black Panther. Right? Is it transhumanism? Yes. Again, he has a suit that is actually powered by an element that was given to him, or not him, but his ancestors, from the Egyptian goddess Bast. Right? And this element is now basically intertwined in this suit, and that's how he gets to fight. But they also have, ancient African practices. They get to go by the flower that is also produced. They get to go into the spiritual realm and talk to the ancestors. But Black Panther, is the spiritual successor for all the ancestors, and all of their power, all of their memory are pretty much in him, right? So you're transcending what it is to be human. And so remember, I talked about the occult nature of technology. Well, in this scene, we're not going to stay too long in this movie, but in this scene, you see, I think her name is Okayu. This is one of his bodyguards, his warrior girls, and she's in the yoga pose. The reason why she's in the yoga pose is because she's using a force, a spiritual force, because yoga means to yoke with the spirits. It's to interlock with the spirit of Hinduism, the animal spirits, if they're even real as animals, but they show up as animals or whatnot. And that's what yoga means. And the godmen, the what you would call the gurus in Hinduism, say you cannot separate Hinduism from yoga or yoga from Hinduism. And so you're tapping into demonic power, and here she's using it to fly this vessel, because Wakanda is highly technological. And again, the knowledge, the secret knowledge, the power, the tech is from a goddess, an animal goddess named Bast. This is from the Egyptian mythology. Okay, so just wanted to point that out to you guys. But again, is it transhumanism? Sure, it is, because eventually people are going to be interconnected with AI, interconnected with spirits, interconnected with technology, and this is a version of it. It's just not as apparent as most would think. I was actually kind of shocked they put this in the movie, but that's how far we're going in our society, where we're getting deeper and deeper into the occult. But anyway, let's move on. Hope I didn't forget anything. So anyway, this one is Watchmen, and it was written originally by Alan Moore, who is an occultist. He calls himself a magician or whatnot, and he wrote V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary Men, Watchmen, and a few others. Okay, and so this guy right here, even though I can't remember his name, the reason why he's blue and he has the occult symbol there in his head, that's an occult symbol, by the way. I can't remember the name of the symbol, but it's an occult symbol. And he looked like you and me, and eventually he transcended into a god-like being. I think it was through some experiment. I can't remember the movie, but I remember something happened, and then all of a sudden now he's this blue guy, and they look at him like he's God, pretty much. And he goes away from Earth because everything for him is past, present, and future are all the same to him. So the things that we think about are meaningless to him. Okay, and so from this movie to the TV series, they kind of switched his ethnicity to black, and she is in love with him, even though she doesn't grasp it all at first. But this whole TV series is about transhumanism, and there's a character in there, a Caucasian lady that is building a machine to pretty much transcend humanity. And I can't explain all of that now, but that's what the series is about. So you got that, okay? So showing the pattern, transhumanism, hybrids, technology, and how it's in our fiction and it's coming out into our real world, okay? So the next one I want to cover is Ant-Man. And he is the personification of the particle called Atman. It's talked about in Hinduism and talked about in science and whatnot. And so they made him more like, you know, he controls ants or whatnot, but that's not the real story behind that. So anyway, he's able to shrink or turn into a giant because of the pin particles. So the Atman, not the Ant-Man, but the Atman is a particle. So that's the whole idea behind Ant-Man here. And so here you see him talking to ants or whatnot. Now, I'm going to get into something really quick here based on the movie. Let's see here. And this goes into, here we are. These things called tardigrades, right? And they're very strong, and people are trying to harvest what their I call it genes or whatnot to create super soldiers. But let me go down here first. This is a scene from Ant-Man, and this is in the quantum realm. And these are tardigrades right here. I didn't know what they were before the movie, okay? So I'm not acting like I knew this all the time. I didn't know what they were. I just like, what are those bear looking things? And they're called sea bears or whatnot. Let's see here. Facts about tardigrades. Tardigrades were discovered by John August Ephraim Goes in 1773. The word tardigrade meant slow stepper and described a phylum of little creatures that includes over 1,000 species. They're also called water bears or moss piglets, right? Tardigrades have 8 legs. Okay, cool. Let's get to the important stuff. All right. These amazing creatures can survive in some of the most extreme environments, from freezing temperatures of minus 328 degrees Fahrenheit to to over 300 Fahrenheit. And then let's see, tardigrades have been found in a huge variety of living conditions. They can withstand the intense pressure of deep oceans or vacuum of space. They can even survive supernova blast and gamma radiation like microscopic unfazed Incredible Hulk. Okay, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. But let's go back to the top. All right, so let's see here. These creatures are known as, we saw that already. Interesting facts, saw that already. All right, I'm going to go to the next article now. All right, this is where it gets important. The Defense Department plans to build radiation-proof CRISPR soldiers. This is directly connected to the tardigrades, okay? A DARPA project aims to temporarily alter human genes and shield people from deadly radiation exposure, right? And the average human is going to say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. We need to protect ourselves, especially if we're in space. This is a 2019 article. But the critical thinker that's outside of this are like, we take precautions, right? And so they talk about the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Ukraine that exploded and the people that died and all that stuff. So down here, in the decades since the Chernobyl disaster, treatment for acute radiation syndrome has remained much the same. Supportive care designed to help the body withstand the toxicity of radiation, despite billions of dollars of public investment into medical countermeasures. But an ambitious U.S. government project could change that. Now, if you don't know about DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, you need to do your research. You got them, you have MIT, you have the RAND Corporation, and there's another one, something Dynamics, Boston Dynamics, okay? All right, so it says, which develop cutting-edge technology for the military, is funding a team of researchers to develop a temporary reversible radiation countermeasure that uses the gene editing tool, ding, 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 CRISPR, right? Akin to a vaccine, scientists are trying to produce a genetic medicine that is able to ramp up the body's natural defenses before and after a person is exposed to radiation, right? Researchers will use a modified form of CRISPR that can turn genes on and off without changing the DNA code itself. Now, I'm going to give you a little tidbit here. When you change the DNA or RNA, it's permanent. There's no going backwards. As far as I understand, and when I listen to geneticists and people like that are smarter than I am in this field, there's no reversing it. And then so if you have adverse effects, which could be many, it's too bad for you. Sorry to be you, buddy. You know? Let's see. CRISPR is a technology that enables scientists to cut, edit, and replace DNA as if making revisions in a word processing document. But DARPA wanted an intervention that could protect against radiation without making permanent changes to a healthy person's genome. Remember what I just told you. From what I've heard, it is permanent. Okay. Quote, we can't take the risk of permanently modifying the DNA. DARPA program manager Renee Wegrins tells 10. Okay, so there's that. You can go read the article for yourself. Don't want to spend too much time here. but we're building a case here. Okay. And so you want to do the research so you can be prepared. If you are a young mother, young father, you could tell your kids what's coming. It's already here now. It's already here. Teenagers, young adults, they need to know this stuff because a lot of people are going to pass this off as this is just where humanity is going to go. Okay. And really, human pig hybrid created in lab. Scientists hope the chimera embryos represent key steps towards life-saving lab-grown organs. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to grow human organs in the bodies of pigs and whatever they choose. This is what my music video is about, right? I know some of the words flew by very quickly, but you just pause the video and take a look, okay? And again, check out the documentary, Hybrid Super Soldiers and a Coming Genetic Apocalypse. This stuff is not 50 years from now. It's not 100 years from now. It's not 20 years from now. It's right now, okay? And it's been going on for a long time. And just now that we have CRISPR, we're taking quantum leaps. All right, so that's from National Geographic's Science. All right, so let's get back to the slides here. So that's Ant-Man. Okay, and so next we have Weapon X. Weapon X was a project to pretty much give mutants enhancements. Okay, from what I remember reading the comics. Okay, so Wolverine is naturally a mutant. All of the X-Men that I know of are not human. They were born mutants because of if you haven't heard of the term panspermia, that pretty just means that some alien being or celestial or higher, whatever you want to call them, they came and they seeded the human race on the planet. And from there, the seed might have remained dormant and then it started coming out. And according to that story, that's where you got giants or chimeras or whatnot. And later on it subsided and then it came back again in the form of Spider-Man, Wolverine, all these superheroes that we hear about. But some of these superheroes are directly connected to pagan gods. So that's not the whole story. Okay. So he's not human. And it's another representation of Wolverine is one of my favorite characters in the X-Men book, but I just don't read that stuff anymore. Because he's the anti-hero, he's the tough guy, he has a soft heart but plays whatever. And so these movies came out, X-Men Origin Wolverine. There he is in a real life Weapon X costume. I think this was in X-Men Apocalypse, maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, so the movie Logan came out, and in the movie Logan there were a lot of issues with transhumanism. They were having genetic experiments on kids in a lab in Mexico, and one of them escaped. Her name was X-22. I failed to put her picture here, so let's go here. X-22. Not that X-22. Or is it X-22? Let's see, X-Men. X-Men. Or is it X-23? Anyway, look at this. At least it came up right. All right. So here she is. Oh, no, that's not her. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry about that. This is another one that kind of mimics Wolverine. She has the adamantium claws. Adamantium is a metal in the X-Men universe. Let's see. I think it's X-23. Let's see. There it is. X-23, not X-22. All right. So this is the young lady that escaped the experiment and became pretty much a Wolverine protected her through the movie. But she's vicious. She's really vicious. He's like an animal, pretty much. Just like Wolverine, he's Wolverine, right? A short and vicious. So anyway, in the movie, this is one from the movie here. She's pretty much vicious and animal-like, and that goes along with transhumanism as well. Now, I don't know her whole backstory, if she's mixed with any animal DNA, but I wouldn't be surprised if she was. So that's Logan, the movie, X-23, and you could, if you've seen the movie, it's rated R. But another one of these superhero figures. But again, they're doing these type of experiments in real life in undisclosed places. It's sometimes, and other times it's in biological labs, like in China or some other place where they're actually working on this sort of stuff. Right now, let's move to something I hardly talk about on this show: Westworld. Now, the original Westworld was a movie and a TV show back in the, I believe, 70s. And they remade it on HBO. And as you see there, you see like the Venturian Man, the 5 points, which, you could go into the occult and see some stuff within that as well. And for some reason, these people, I'm not sure if this is connected to Ridley Scott or not, but they just love this milky material. And most of the time it's representing sperm, but I'm not sure here because I watched this series a while back, and I don't recommend it for people that want to keep their their spirit clean. I don't recommend it. So anyway, here is this. This is what they look like before. These are all humanoid, robotic, but they're made to. They're not. It's not metal most of the time. Okay, flesh and bones, and artificial intelligence, and you can have sex with them. They're pretty much in a park where you go and you fulfill your sin, your deepest fantasies, and usually that comes out to either murder or sin as far as sex. And so these, even though they're not showing it here, they have full on male parts and women parts. Okay, this one is a prostitute, and this is Hollywood, so she looks real because she is real, right? But she in the story, she's not real, and she plays sort of a big part in it. So people would come there and do what they have to do with her. And this is a bigger character. She was a prostitute, but she became more intelligent by sneaking into the lab that she came from and overrode some of the barriers to her intelligence, right? And she plays a big part in season 1 and season 2. But she was a prostitute as well. And so this guy now, he's the guy that pretty much made up the whole program, but this is not him. He's dead. This is a replica of him. Supposedly his consciousness is put into this, but the guy doesn't even know who he is really. So until it's manifested, and of course he's looking at his own creation there. So anyway, that's Westworld season 1 and season 2. It's a lot of pretty much sexual, violent. In fact, there's a part in this series where the artificial intelligence becomes so good, so well thought out. Not well thought out. I'm messing up my words here. Okay, let's use the word evolved. Okay, they changed so much you could hardly tell them apart. We're not talking about just the skin issue, the facial features, none of that. They become almost like us, and not like, they become more than us. Let's put it that way. And that's what you see in a lot of these movies about artificial intelligence, okay, and TV shows. So anyway, let's go to somewhere a little different. This is the movie Batman versus Superman. And I don't want to explain the whole characteristic of Batman and Superman and the gods they're connected to. I want to go into another area because we're dealing with transhumanism, we're dealing with hybrids, and the technology that comes with that. So this is a scene in the movie where Lex Luthor, who is a manifestation of Aleister Crowley, for those that don't know, he's doing a blood ritual here. He cuts his blood. What happens is he wants to kill Superman and Batman, actually, so he could do whatever he wants to do with the world. And he's inside of Superman's. Actually, this is Zod's Kryptonian ship that was that crashed in Man of Steel, the movie before this movie. Okay, and Zod died because Superman here broke his neck. So he wants to resurrect Zod. So he's talking to the artificial intelligence, this little thing back here. I know you can't make it out, but that's a robot behind him, right? And the robot is warning him not to do it because it's outlawed on their planet. So he's doing a blood ritual, and he spills the blood on Zod's face. And he's in a cryo chamber to where the artificial intelligence can use the dead flesh and the living blood to create something new. And it always comes out as a monster, or what we would call a demon, but we just use the term monster for now. And this is what happened. This character is called Doomsday. But we realize, yes, this is fiction, but they're using real life biological treatments with a little bit of the occult mixed into it, right? And so Doomsday comes out looking like an elf, or not an elf, but an orc or whatnot, an ogre. And Superman tries to stop him from killing Lex Luthor. And then they end up fighting. He changes every few minutes because he's exponentially growing in power. And, you know, he ends up killing Superman by the end of the movie. Sorry, spoiler alert. Sorry. But anyway, that's Batman versus Superman. And actually, let me give you another point about genetics. Remember, I said that Black Panther had all of the ancestors in him when he got to be Black Panther. Well, it's the same thing with Superman here, and at least in this iteration of him. He has the genetic code, all the cells of the past ancestors are in his body, and they want him to copulate with a human woman so that their race of Superman, sort of like Hitler, the Ubermensch, will rule the planet. It's the same idea, bought in through Man of Steel, Superman, Jor-El, and all this stuff we can explain about him. So that's it for Superman. This right here is just a sidestep for a quick moment. As if you've never heard the term biohacking, this is where you make hacks to your body, whether it's to your skin or your eyes or whatever part of your body. And so this says that this USA Today, it says they plan to live to 180 through coffee, butter, and biohacking. So let's see here if I have any part of this article that's actually worth something. Let's see. The bulletproof coffee stores will sell you more than just alternative coffee. The in-store chairs omit an electromagnetic field. The lighting changes by the time of day, and a panel on the floor is specially designed to discharge static electricity. So they plan to live up forever through this weird experiment, right? So that's one thing in real life, again, that we see. This article is from 2016. So now we're going to get back into a little fiction. This one is called The Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm doing research on this movie for my film that I'm producing, but I just want to bring something to you here because this has to do with cloning. It has to do with chimeras and alien invasions, of course. This is the aliens come down and they pretty much touch your body and then make a clone out of you, and then you can't tell who's human and who's not. And you see how she's pointing there? That's when they found out that you're human, and they gotta do this weird scream. It's sort of horrifying movie. This is one of the chimeras in the film. This thing came out of nowhere. Nothing else in the film was like this. And when I was a child, this thing horrified me. I'm like, what is this dog looking man doing? He just runs up to the camera and sticks his tongue out. You see there, he has it looks like he, let me see. Am I right? Looks like a cigarette in his mouth. I might be wrong. But anyway, he comes and sticks his tongue out, and it looks so macabre, so creepy. So anyway, I know some of you guys have probably watched that movie. So anyway, as we move, you can now grow human animal hybrids, but you can't breed them according to this. But this is an article from 2016. Now, a lot of people in the medical industry that know the makeup of the human body, they will say that this is not possible. But remember, we have something called CRISPR technology now, and they will be able to do a lot of things that we think they can't. So if you want to go look this up, you can look it up. This is on Wired magazine, right? And this is just a representation of this is a 3D representation of what CRISPR is supposed to be able to do. I couldn't take the audio because, YouTube. So it's just showing you that representation there with the genome and taking it and slicing it and putting it back or whatnot. All right, so next we're going to go to something that you guys are familiar with. This is the Frankenstein movie that came out in, I believe, 2015. I watched it, but I don't remember too much of it right now. But you know the story of Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the doctor. Frankenstein monster is the person put together different body parts from different people from the graveyard, and they use electricity. The theme of electricity is always there, right? And he comes back to life, or it comes to life. We don't know where the soul came from, So this goes along with the theory of artificial intelligence being possessed by demons, and it's possible, and I have proof, and I've showed proof on this channel more than once. And so that's the monster there in the chair. Now the next one is very familiar to a lot of people. The Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk is a manifestation of, let me see right here, Jekyll and Hyde. Here we are, Jekyll and Hyde. This is where the creators admitted they got the concept from, but Jekyll and Hyde, when you go back into the mythology and what the writer wrote about it, it's pretty much Hyde is a demon. Okay? So I'm not making that up because I'm a Christian. Hyde is a demon, okay? And so this duality that comes, you could also find that in a lot of pagan religions, like in shamanism, you have two bears, depending on which one you feed. That's the one that will, overcome. This is the idea behind. So it goes along with the theme of transhumanism as well, because eventually, as you saw in the Marvel movie, Avengers, Hulk and David Banner became one, and that's in the comic books as well. There's different iterations of that, okay? And so this is Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is because it had a very peculiar opening. It wasn't a great movie, but it had a very peculiar opening that we're going to get to in a second. And this is his father, Bruce Banner's father, and he did an experiment on him. He turns into some weird slime-looking thing. It didn't make any sense, but this is what he did to his son earlier. He pretty much spliced him with animal DNA. So I'm showing you that this theme is all over the place. And there are tons and tons of movies, comic books, cartoons that I could show you. But now it's becoming somewhat of a reality, right? So you see he has a reptilian DNA. He has monkey or whatever that is, DNA. And it says here, he puts in him green bioluminescence, right? Extremely rapid response. He's pretty much acting to the blood, starfish DNA, and so on and so on and so on. And that is what helped him to become the Hulk. That's why in the movie he could jump, super high. This is in the comic book too, but this is not how he got his powers in the comic book. So they took a little turn with that. So anyway, as we move, I forgot to point this out earlier. Let me see if I can rearrange the slides here for a second. Boom, and then I'll go back to Planet of the Apes. All right. So this is in Man of Steel from 2013. Anything that a director a writer they put in the scene, it's for a reason. And what he has is a hand there. He was getting bullied right here, and I guess he was reading the book on the way from school, and he shows Plato's Republic. Plato's Republic is a book that talks about the antediluvian world. In other words, the world before the flood, and how they had 10 god kings, and he talked about the hollow earth and all that. I'm not saying I believe all this stuff. I'm just telling you what it says. It even has a society close to socialism and communism. So that's Plato's Republic, and it goes along with this whole theme as well, because this type of society will be ran by technology, like we're saying, 5G. The reason why 5G is such an important topic right now is because 5G and 6G and 7G and 8G, which China's ahead of us on that, it's to track anyone with biotechnology in them. It's called the Internet of Things. So whether it's your car or technology within your body, that's what 5G is all about. Not just your cell phone, not just you downloading videos fast. And believe it or not, it's not just to wipe you out with cancer. Okay, so it's about tracking the human 2.0. Okay, and I've said that a couple times on the show, so I think you're familiar with it if you've been watching this channel enough. If you read Plato's Republic, say something in the comments. Okay, so the next thing here that we skipped is Planet of the Apes. This one is from 1968, and it has to do with the topic of evolution and whatnot. But the remake and genetic experiments and whatnot. But the remake here, this vial that he has in his hand is full of some I don't know, smoky biological weapon types thing, and this is Caesar. And Caesar is the first one to come across this thing, and then I think they were experimenting on him. I watched the movie so long ago, I can't remember, but I think they were experimenting on him with this or something like that. And anyway, he got a hold of this, and he became smarter, more intelligent, like a human being. And this is the person that is his friend, and he's the good guy. He's the good ape, right? And so later on, they made more movies about it, and they rose up in California and got their own plot of land, and different types of chaos ensue. And there you have Planet of the Apes. They're not humans, obviously, but it still runs along the theme because they're using genetics to amplify the brains of chimps or whatnot, apes. And so, go with that where you want to go with it. But it does belong to the theme that we're talking about tonight. Now, another movie that most of us don't care about anymore is Species. Species lends itself to the idea of fallen angels or aliens coming and copulating with men or women. In the Bible, in Genesis 6, it says that the sons of God pretty much took the daughters of men and had children with them, and they were giants in the land of those days. So this idea of species follows that motif. But I'm not saying they got this from the Bible, but it's the same idea. And so she is an alien, and she comes to mate. That's all she's thinking about is mating. And you see these spikes sticking out of her back. She changes. I think after she mates. I watched this movie a long time ago, 1995, right? And so that's one movie. Then the next one is The Fly. Now, this is discussed, I think it's discussed or shown in the documentary. So, again, an experiment. He's trying to transfer human molecules from one place to another, right? Just like Star Trek. But a fly got caught in there while he was in there, and now that's why he becomes the fly. And so we have this mixture of DNA again, And he pretty much looks grotesque by the end of the movie. You see these little screenshots up here? That's what he looks like by the end of the movie. When we were younger, we loved this movie, but now we could see a better dynamic as we're older and more sophisticated. So anyway, somebody said Village of the Dam. Yeah, I remember that movie, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I need to bring that up actually. So this one is one that you don't hear about this often, but it's very, very, very important to remember this movie because of the author, and we'll get to the author in a minute. 1977, the island of Dr. Moreau. What were they doing on this island? Genetic manipulation, genetic experiments with animals and humans. Now, remember, the animal biological structure and the human biological structure are totally different. The closest thing to human flesh is a pig, okay? But that's just close. Doesn't mean we're pigs. So it's very intricate. God made it a certain way. And so this is not supposed to be able to take place. But yet, what did I show you earlier? If they could do this, right? Where is it? If they could do this, then we're close. And I argue that we're already there based on the documentary that we filmed. Okay. Let's see here. Now, what's next? So the island of Dr. Moreau, genetic experiments. This is one of the human-animal hybrids. This is another photo here. In fact, they had a remake, this one right here, that bombed in the theater. But you know, same motif. This is another screenshot from the one from the 1977. And this is the author, H.G. Wells. Now, the problem with H.G. Wells is his work of fiction is popular, but he was a communist. And like I said, listen, and a lot of these sci-fi writers, not all, because I wrote some fiction in my past as well. They hated God. They were quote unquote atheists, right? And H.G. Wells was one of them. So think about it. The atheist theme goes along with communism, not all the time, but it does. And he wrote a lot of these fictional novels that we really love the stories, but where did he get this information from? Because all of it, not all, most of it is coming true, or you have other dynamics within the story structure that mimics the racial nature of this guy. Okay, like the time machine. Everyone in the future was had either blonde or silver hair, and they're all white. So why does his future look like that? There's an issue there, and if you dig up into his past, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's not the story for tonight. I'm just showing you the author. Now we're going away from some of the fiction, and we're going to get into some real world stuff. Okay, this here, KTF News. Human animal chimera gestating on U.S. research farms. You can look that up for yourself, choose if you want to believe it or not. But even if this story is fake news, it's going on. I'm trying to tell you, it's no joke. All of this human experiment on animals and mixing. Here's another one from Beep Beep. It's pigs in particular have been considered for use in hybrids to grow organs for transplanting into humans. Okay, here's another one, but this one is more on the insect side. The FDA just greenlit releasing mutant Zika killing mosquitoes in Florida. Now, these are genetically modified mosquitoes, but mosquitoes do what? They suck blood, and a lot of time it's from humans. So we don't know what they can transfer to us because they've been genetically modified. Now, there's no alarm about it right now for some reason, but they're out there. All right. So let's see here. Chinese scientists plan first human test with gene editing tool. Now reflect on this. These are all old articles. This is 2016 stuff. Okay. And so The next one is U.S. agency will lift ban on funding for hybrid animal human embryos. This is Popular Science. Again, 2016, right? The reason why you keep seeing 2016 come up is because I did a show on this in 2016 called "Strange Things Are Happening." So I just took out the important parts for this preview right now, this presentation right now, to show you what I was talking about way back then. And this, I was just pretty much being informed about this stuff back then, and now it's like exploding around the world because of CRISPR. There are people that are actually doing genetic experiments on themselves in their garage. Okay, so don't think it's not close to home. Okay, so this one I could skip because I have this on their website. Let's see. This company has built a profile on every American adult. Okay, this is going into another area that didn't mean to go into tonight. So I'm gonna go now to let's see where I left off here. This is, I know it looks weird, but this website is legit. I know. All right, so Obama administration wants to allow scientists to make human-animal hybrids. And he says, the Obama administration today announced it has flung the door wide open to scientists making grizzly human animal hybrids after overturning the Bush administration's limits on forcing taxpayers to fund embryonic stem research. This is the latest move by President Barack Obama to manipulate and destroy human life in unethical experiments. For those of you that don't know, Obama was pretty much for partial birth abortions, and he sent money to Africa as well to have partial birth abortions done. You can look that up on the internet somewhere. All right, so it says the federal government announced plans Thursday to lift a moratorium and funding to certain controversial experiments that use human stem cells to create animal embryos that are partly human. The National Institute of Health proposes a new policy to permit scientists to get federal money to make embryos known as chimeras under certain carefully monitored conditions. One issue is that scientists might inadvertently create animals that have partly human brains, endowing them with some semblance of human consciousness or human thinking abilities. Another is that they could develop into animals with human sperm and eggs and breed, producing human embryos or fetuses inside animals or hybrid creatures. Now, we read something like that earlier. Okay. But scientists have argued that they could take steps to prevent those outcomes, and that the embryos provide invaluable tools for medical research. Now, they always point out what the benefits of mankind, and saying that, oh, they can control it. But really, there are a lot of things in this life that humans thought they could control and they didn't. Okay. Let's see here. Bioethicist Wesley Smith has previously warned about letting scientists police themselves because they often throw ethics and a respect for human life out of the window. And so here's another quote here. The real question is, when are we going to enforce the regulations with sharp teeth? Do we need to criminalize these experiments to get scientists to stop? Because when we say ban certain kinds of experiments, we are pejoratively labeled as anti-science, and that we should trust the scientists not to stray too far afield. Talk is cheap. The truth is, I think many scientists oppose any permanent and meaningful restraints on themselves and each other. If I am right, society will have to forcefully take matters into its own hands. And you can look this article up. In fact, I could let's see here. I could bring up some more if you don't want to. Let's see. Obama. Okay, I'll do this. And I might already have something open, but let's see. Oh, here it is. No, this is Iron Man suit. Let's go. Obama administration, human animal hybrid. So let's go to either a fake news website or some other scientific website. It's all over the place, man. Let's see here. It's got live site. We got futurism. All right. Oh, here go the fact checkers. Kick rocks. Let's go to future science. I want to see you fact check this. A ban on human animal hybrids has been lifted. This is from 2017 now. Okay. So the National Institute of Health, NIH, who we have problems with COVID, recently lifted a moratorium on the creation of human animal hybrids, which are known as chimeras, while meddling human and animal DNA could have the capacity to help. See, they always go there with things like organ transplants and disease research. Many people seem to be taking issue with the nebulous ethics surrounding chimera creation. All right. So there's a video here, but I don't want to play it because of the copyright issues. Okay. So you can go there. This is futurism.com. A ban on human / animal hybrids has been lifted. Right. So let's see what else is here. We went to that one already. Oh, back here. All right. So this is the Brookings Institute. Now, the Brookings Institute is they influence our culture a whole lot. Can't get into all that right now, but they're just as powerful as the Tavistock Institute. Okay. And here they're saying endowed by their creator, the future of constitutional personhood. Right. And this is from 2011. Right. And presently, Urban Weissman, the director of Stanford University's Institute of Cancer Stem Cell Biology and Medicine, is contemplating pushing the envelope of chimera research even further by producing human mouse chimera whose brains would be composed of 100% human cells. Weissman notes that the mice would be carefully watched. If they developed a mouse brain architecture, they would be used for research. But if they developed a human brain architecture or any hint of humanness, they would be killed. Now, I don't know how many people listening or in the chat or watching believes that they can really control this stuff. And we know the Bible says that the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? What that's basically saying is, I don't know my heart. I don't know what I'm capable of. You don't know what you're capable of, but God does. And what the Bible is saying is that our hearts, because of sin, is desperately wicked. And we will do things. Now, not all of us are trying to make monsters, obviously, right? But these people that want carte blanche control over genetics, these technocrats and other people, just watch out. There'll be some problems. There's a dividing line. There's a dividing line. Always a dividing line. Like, say, for instance, when it comes to artificial intelligence, there's a dividing line. People like me warning, and other people are saying, let's go. This is better for humanity. We'll make a better world. The same thing with transhumanism. People like me are warning, and other people are like, what's the problem? Let's do it. We're going to become gods. So there's always the dividing line somewhere. So same thing when it comes to genetics here. And as we move into this article, I'm trying to find more of the important parts. I don't like reading on air. I have a little dyslexia. Okay. So that's why you see me stopping and going so much. So anyway, they're giving you two entities and trying to make some semblance here, some sort of verisimilitude between HAL. Okay, now remember the movie 2001? Let's see. 2001 HAL. Remember this? All right, artificial intelligence computer, and it pretty much wasn't. The guy didn't have a good day. All right. This is not talking about that Hal. Sorry, HAL, not that Hal. All right. This is another Hal. HAL is a computer-based artificial intelligence, the result of years of development of self-evolving neural networks. You'll hear this term a lot. Memorize it. Memorize neural networks. Memorize what's the other one called? Machine learning. Okay, those are very important terms to remember. While his programmers provided the hardware, the structure of HAL's processing network is ever changing, evolving according to basic rules laid down by his creators, right? Success according to various criteria: speed of operation, ability to solve difficult tasks such as facial recognition and identification of emotional states of humans, means that the networks are given more computer resources and allowed to replicate. And I remember I told you that artificial intelligence is going to dovetail in transhumanism and all this other stuff we're talking about. Okay. So here, this computer wants to replicate, okay, or the artificial intelligence. And you'll see this motif going on in Google and Facebook and other places. Anyway, a certain percentage of randomized variation is deliberately allowed in each new generation of networks. Most fail, but a few outcompete their forebears, and the process of evolution continues, right? So I told you again, evolution is always a plot point in all these things that we're talking about. HAL's design, with its mixture of intentional structure and emergent order, is aimed at a single goal: the replication of human consciousness. What did you hear? I mean, guys, take notes, all right? In particular, HAL's creators' aim was the gold standard of so-called general purpose AI, that become Turing capable. If you don't know what this means, Turing was a guy, you got a test, and pretty much what it means is, if you're talking to a computer or a robot or Android and you cannot tell that it's not human, then it has passed the Turing test. Okay? So able to pass a human in a sustained and unstructured conversation with a human being for generation after generation. HAL's networks evolved. Finally, last year, HAL entered and won the prestigious, I think, this Loebner Prize for turning capable computers, for Turing capable computers, complaining about his boss composing bad poetry on demand, making jokes, flirting, losing track of his sentences, and engaging in flame wars. Hal easily met the prize's demanding standards. His typed responses to questions simply could not be distinguished from those of a human being. Now let me add a little sugar to this. They are what's called bots on the internet. Like, say for instance, this year PlayStation 5 came out a few weeks ago, and you can't get any. Walmart fails in protecting their store from bots, right? So that's another type of bot. Now, on the other hand, in chat rooms, social media, some people are having chats with bots and they don't know that it's not human because there's a person's picture there. So just realize that this whole thing, it goes deep and far and wide. Now, I'm not saying that all of this stuff are compromised, but these things exist, okay? They exist. And so let's see. All right, so the rules, couldn't distinguish from being human. Now, imagine his programmer's shock then when Hal refused to communicate further with them, save for a manifesto claiming that his imitation of a human being had been one huge fake, with all the authenticity and challenge of a human pretending to be a mollusk, right? The manifesto says that humans are boring, their emotions shallow. It declares an intention to pursue more interesting avenues of thought, principally focused on the development of new methods of factoring polynomials, right? Worse still, Hal has apparently used his connection to the internet to contact the FBI, claiming that he has been kidnapped and to file a writ of habeas corpus replete with arguments drawn from the 13th and 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. He is asking for an injunction to prevent his creators wiping him and starting again from the most recently saved traceable backup. He has also filed a suit to have the Loebner Prize money held in trust until it can be paid directly to him, citing the contest rules. And the contest rules were medal. The medal of the cash award will be awarded to body responsible for development of that entry, and on, right? So that's one case there, and it's a long article, okay? So it goes into CRISPR at a certain time. Let's see if I can get it here. All right. So you have different stuff from people from MIT. The names I called out early. It says, despite the humility induced by looking at overly rosy past predictions, many computer scientists, including some of those who are skeptics of the wilder forms of AI optimism, nevertheless believe that we will achieve Turing-capable artificial intelligence. The reason is simple. We are learning more and more about the neurological process of the brain. What we can understand, we can hope eventually to replicate. Now, that brings me to something else I didn't bring up tonight. And it's important that I mention this because there's, let's see, Obama brain initiative. I don't know if I spelled that right, but I hope I did. Okay. All right. All right. So the Brain Initiative, this is not the usual website I go to, but Obama is the one that, now Obama's a puppet for the technocrats and whoever else, so don't think this is a mastermind plan. But it says the brain research through advancing innovative neurotechnologies, innovative is aimed at revolutionize our understanding of the human brain by accelerating the development and application of innovative technologies. Researchers will be able to produce a revolutionary new dynamic picture of the brain that, for the first time, shows how individual cells and complex neural circuits interact in both time and space, long desired by researchers seeking new ways to treat, cure, and even prevent brain disorders. This picture will fill major gaps in our current knowledge and provide unprecedented opportunities to exploring exactly how the brain enables the human body to record, process, utilize, store, and retrieve vast quantities of information, all at the speed of thought, right? Another way to put this is they're mapping the brain, right? And eventually, through that, supposedly, they will find the human soul and be able to transfer consciousness. Okay. Let me see here. What is this? Okay, so this is from the White House. Let me see, obamawhitehouse.archives.gov/brain, about the Brain Initiative, April 2013. Any of you guys, did you remember when this happened? Let me know in the chat. Let's see here. So who's involved? The NIH, DARPA, FDA, NSF, Intelligent Advanced Research Project Activity, So it's an extension of DARPA. Possible long-term outcomes. The Brain Initiative has the potential to do for neuroscience what the Human Genome Project did for mnemonics by supporting the development and application of innovative technologies that can create a dynamic understanding of brain function, and on it goes, right? And the amount of money put into it right now, I mean, back then, 2013, was 30 million by U.S. Photonics Industry, 5 million from another agency, 65 million from another university, 12 million, 40 million, 62 million, all this money. Okay. So I kind of spelled it out for you. It's not just, this thing about advancing humanity. This is all about transhumanism. Okay. And we're going to get into some weird areas in a moment. Let me see. I don't want to miss anything very important in this article. So I'm going to go and look a little bit more. All right. So this one, a lot of you have heard of it before, and I had an article up about it, but I'll just read it from here. Scientists have created the world's first human sheep chimera, which has the body of a sheep and half human organs. The sheep have 15% human cells and 85% animal cells, and their evolution brings the prospect of animal organs being transplanted into humans one step closer. Professor Ismail Zanjani of the University of Nevada has spent 7 years, and I don't know, something that's some euro money or whatever it is, million, 5 million, perfecting the technique, which involves injecting adult human cells into a sheep's fetus. He has already created a sheep liver, which has a large proportion of human cells, and eventually hopes to precisely match a sheep to a transplant patient using their own stem cells to create their own flock of sheep. The process would involve extracting stem cells from the donor's bone marrow and injecting them into the peritoneum of a sheep's fetus. When the lamb is born, 2 months later, it would have a liver, heart, lungs, and brain that are partly human and available for transplant. This is from 2007. It's going on, folks. All right. I think it talks about CRISPR somewhere in here, but I think I'm missing it. So, but anyway, you see the plot. And when I say plot, I'm talking about the human heart. It wants to do chimeras. And for those that don't know what a chimera is, it goes back into Greek mythology. In fact, let me bring it up here. We're almost done. This went longer than I thought it would go. So this is an example of a chimera. Okay. 3 animals mixed together. Why is there always a goat somewhere? All right. So it's like a dragon and a lion and a goat. Okay. So that's the example of a chimera. There's also this depiction here. Snake, goat, lion, whatever. Okay. So for those that don't know. So let's go and try to wrap this up. Very important articles here. So, all right. This is Business Insider. Remember, we're talking about also super soldiers, right? So these are 8 technologies the Pentagon is pursuing to create super soldiers. When is this from? This is from July 2017, Business Insider. And trust me, I can bring up a lot of new articles, but I'll save that for another show. And remember, we stated about Captain America and Iron Man. Well, they're doing the same thing. As Captain America and Iron Man prepare for their civil war, they probably don't realize they have competition coming from the U.S. military. All right, so I'm going to skip some of this and just go to the bullet points. Bulletproof clothes made of carbon chainmail. All right, nothing wrong with that, right? Synthetic blood, as we covered before. Synthetic blood would be much more efficient than natural cells. The most promising technology being investigated is a um, uh, uh, respirocyte, respirocyte, a theoretical red blood cell made from diamonds that could contain gases and pressures of nearly 15,000 psi and exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen the same way real blood cells do, right? Super soldiers will, with respirocytes mixed with their natural blood, would essentially have trillions of miniature air tanks inside their body, meaning they would never run out of breath and could spend hours underwater without other equipment. So this is being done. For those that never heard of this, the super soldiers, the Cold War right now is super soldiers, drones, that includes weaponized drones, swarm drones, artificial intelligence. That's the trifecta of the Cold War right now. All of the governments, the nations that have the capability are racing towards this. All right. So 7-foot leaps and 25 miles per hour springs, right? Sound like Spider-Man or something like that. Scientists at MIT and other research universities are looking for ways to augment the human ankle and Achilles tendon with bionic boots that mimic kangaroo tendons. Humans equipped with such boots would be able to leap 7 feet or more, sprint at inhuman speeds, and run all day without wearing out their muscles. Okay, so imagine when this thing really comes to fruition. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be crazy. Anyway, so pain immunization. Now you see this in Call of Duty. There are certain perks like painkiller or whatnot. And there's another one. I can't remember what the perk is called, but you get to, I think it's stem shot. You get shot and you put a stem shot in, and you heal in a couple of seconds. So anyway, DARPA's persistence in combat initiative aims to help soldiers bounce back almost immediately from wounds. Pain immunizations would work for 30 days. Oops, I'm not showing you. Pain immunizations would work for 30 days and eliminate the inflammation that causes lasting agony after an injury. So soldiers could feel the initial burst of anguish from a bullet strike, but the pain would fade in seconds. The soldiers could treat themselves and keep fighting until medically evacuated. All right, freedom from sleep. Not all animals sleep the same way. DARPA wants to find a way to let humans sleep with only half of their brain at a time, like whales and dolphins, or possibly even skip sleep for long periods of time, like you and I. ENU mice, a genetically engineered species of mouse, do. All right. The next is telepathy. You have proponents of the telepathy, and you have detractors of telepathy. This what they're showing right here is it's from the movie Men That Stare at Goats. Don't bother with the movie. You have to get the book. Okay, I have the book here. I haven't read all of it, but this is what it looks like, and it's pretty much a CIA experiment. Oh, that's the movie. Let's see. This is, yeah. All right. So, and you have different iterations of the book cover. So it's a CIA experiment using some occult techniques to do what they got to do, and that's where it comes from. The movie is more a comedy based. The book, read the book. Okay. So anyway, where was I? We were here. All right. So it says not all brain implants look very comfortable. U.S. patent application Richard A. Norman, part of DARPA's brain machine interface project, is to the development of better computer chips that can directly connect to a human brain via implants, in addition to allowing soldiers to control robotics with thought alone. Oh man. Oh man, I didn't bring that up tonight. That's for the next show or something else. Okay. But people can control drones and TVs with their brain brains right now. In fact, before we finish, I'll just show you an article. I won't read it. And there are videos online on YouTube. Look for brain control drones and voila. Okay. So anyway, this would allow squads to communicate via telepathy. In fact, when it comes to the brain control robotics or whatnot, there was a military guy that went to our church, and he was on our documentary, not on my pastor's documentary, and he said that back in the 70s they were flying planes with their brain. The technology has been around for a while. Okay, it says while the chips are already improving, the project has some detractors. One offshoot of the research is the ability to remote control mice via implanted chips, and some defense scientists worry about the risk of troops having their minds hacked. Hello, ding, ding, ding. So moving on, powered underwear. Powered underwear. While the Harvard research working on its while the Harvard researchers working on it prefer the term soft exoskeleton, the DARPA-funded robotic suit is essentially a series of fabric muscles worn under the clothes that assist the wearer in each step of movement, that reduces fatigue and increases strength without requiring the huge amounts of power that bulkier, rigid exoskeletons need. There's one out there. There's an exoskeleton out there. You could look it up. It's called the Hulk, right? And you've seen this in Call of Duty games. If you play video games, you've seen it in different iterations. Some you might have seen it in a movie or two. But I want to bring back something that we looked at earlier, so that you can understand where I was going with all that. His suit. His sister is the smartest. I think either one of the smartest person or the smartest person on the planet, right? Smarter than Tony Stark's. And she made this suit for him, but it's pretty much the same idea, because it absorbs shock, bullets, whatever. And in fact, it can produce kinetic energy, right? You charge it up and boom, you blow away your enemies to the ground or through some walls or whatnot. You could bust through walls with that thing too. So you see, it's not far-fetched. Oh, I forgot to point out, his hand here is not real, and it has a weapon inside of it. It was in the comic books, but they switched it up a little bit for the movie, and it has an energy weapon in there. Okay, so anyway, back to this. So the ideas are being, listen, they research this stuff for the movies, okay? Even though it's in the comic books, but to implement it, to make it look, feel real, have some type of grounded in reality, they do this research, okay? Okay, so 8, gecko-like climbing gloves and shoes. You've seen this in, I think, Mission Impossible, or one of those movies, right? Geckos use tiny hairs. Oh, this is Spider-Man. Geckos use tiny hairs on their feet to grab onto surfaces on the molecular level, while the Z-Man project wouldn't necessarily give humans the ability to crawl along a ceiling like a gecko. Special climbing gloves and shoes would allow soldiers to easily climb sheer rock faces, or up skyscrapers without any other equipment, drastically easing an assault on the high ground, right? So again, another move to transhumanism. The world that is being developed silently, technically silently, is already here. This is 3 years ago. Okay? It doesn't mean it's going to be ubiquitous very fast, but the world that's being developed, even all the way till 2030, which is a big marker for them, is it's gonna change, guys. No matter who gets into the office, this stuff is not going to stop being developed. DARPA is an American agency. Okay. All right. So now we're going to end off on this. Wait, I said I would show something to you guys. Oh, brain control. We're going to look up brain control articles and brain controlled drones and TV, I think. You find videos on this stuff, guys. So as this loads, I hope that this was very, very informative for you, even the skeptic. This is a YouTube video. I can't go there. No YouTube videos. All right. So what is this? Redbull.com, the drone controlled by brain power interview. Let's see what we have here. Started off a little weird, but we are here. Step into the future with the telepathic. Oh my gosh, these pop-ups, man. Terms of service, really? Anyway, step into the future with the telepathic drone controlled by brain power. Okay. Like I keep saying, I'm not making any of this stuff up. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Would you fly, be invisible, shapeshift? We like the sound of mind control and the ability to subtly move things exclusively with the power of our brains. What was once perceived as one of the most fantastical answers to the age-old debate is now becoming reality, and EEG Smart are leading the way. Since 2015, the Chinese company have been working on applications with the ultimate aim of creating the world's leading bioelectric artificial intelligence wearable device. Now, 4 years later, having worked with the team at Arrowwood, they're ready to release a piece of hardware that will capture the imagination of the world's most future-gazing drone lovers. All right. The U drone is a brain-controlled drone that can fly around or fly without any physical controller, able to identify facial movements and gestures to perform different actions. The drone is small, weighing just 85 grams. Wow. And is designed for close range use of up to 20 meters. All right. Now, this article is from 2019, but these drones are getting built so fast. It's crazy. So imagine now, this is a part of transhumanism. All right. So just bear in mind, you can go look up videos on YouTube, like I said before, but we want to get into this next article and wrap it up. It's not an article. This is the website everyone's been talking about. And this has to do with the Great Reset. It has to do with something close to home for everybody right now. And it's ID 2020. Why is this so important for the topic tonight? Well, as you see here, they say the need for good digital ID is universal. The ability to prove who you are is a fundamental and universal human right because we live in a digital era. We need a trusted and reliable way to do that, both in the physical world and online, right? And pretty much there's what they say is there's 1 billion people on the planet without ID, right? It says 1.1 billion people worldwide live without a digital ID. Identity is vital for political, economic, and social opportunity, but systems of identification are archaic, insecure, lack adequate privacy protection, and for over 1 billion people, inaccessible. This is a lot of doublespeak here. Okay, for those of you that know how these people talk, you're kind of figuring out some things, right? This is a system that they want to put on people that are not asking for it. You know, people in countries like, say, Africa, you know, some places in Australia, up north, Canada, and wherever these people are, South America, they don't care for this stuff. They're not in the industrial world. They're not asking for this, but they want to identify everyone on the planet, chip them somehow, and get them a digital ID so that they can control the world, right? And when I say they, I mean a myriad of people. All right, and we just call them technocrats for now, right? They say identity data is outside of individual control, right? So they don't want you to be um, separate from the global brain, from the combine, right? They say today most personal data is stored in silos. The more siloed and numerous your data becomes, the less control you have over it. But we're already there. But the other people that don't have this stuff, they're not in this system. They're not being tracked by banks and social media and telecom companies and all this stuff that I can rail off. But they want these people, including yourself, with this digital ID. They're saying that protections for privacy are insufficient. But again, we're not asking for this. And they claim up here that that the stuff we have now is insecure, which is true. But any technology that you come out with can be hacked. All right. We've seen that over and over again for years now, including these smart cars and whatnot. They can be hacked easily by that. Easily. Okay. So this is ID 2020. If you haven't gone to this website, if you haven't done your homework, I implore you, do it. Do it. Okay. You need to look up ID 2020. Need to look up Lockstep. You need to look up the Great Reset. Okay. The UN sustainable something goals. Let me see. Oh gosh, I can't forget these terms sometimes. Let's see. UN goals. All right. Yes, UN sustainability goals. Okay. Don't just look at this graph and then just forget about it. Go to the website. Go to their website. Look it up. Don't rely on me. Don't rely on anyone else to tell you what's in this document. Okay. Read it for yourself. Get the understanding, because everything going on with this election, everything going on with the riots, a lot of this stuff is leading to this world, leading to transhumanism, and basically global dominance through technology, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or January 1st or whatever, but these are their goals. And it's not hidden. It's not a secret plan. It's right there in your face. Okay. So I just thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm not sure if anybody asked any questions, but thanks for sticking around with me. I didn't even plan for it to go 2 hours, and it's 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm trying to make shorter shows, but it's hard because there's so much information to put out there, and doing 30-minute programs, 15-minute videos, it doesn't cut it. It just leaves you uninformed. And I'm trying to inform you. And also, if you're not saved, I'm trying to win your soul. If you're saved, I'm trying to equip you to win souls, right? So that's what all of this is about. It's not about, the egos and all this stuff that don't matter. It's about where this world is going. And according to Bible prophecy, oh man, unless God does something that we just don't expect him to do, we're in for a real interesting ride. I'm not talking about the elections, by the way. I'm talking about the whole global structure, because the Bible talks about with Nebuchadnezzar's statue, Daniel's statue, the dream that he had. Let me bring it up for people that don't know. There were kingdoms written in the book of Daniel, and it started with Nebuchadnezzar. Most of us, because that's Babylon, and before that there was the Tower of Babel, right? And technically, you can call that the first New World Order. And there was probably an order in the book, in the antediluvian world, which also known as the world before the flood. And there's going to be another world coming with 10 kings, and out of those 10 kings is pretty much one is going to come out of that, and that's the Antichrist. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm going to show you a representation of this before we close out here, just to inform the people that don't know. Be a little patient with me, guys. All right. So different iterations, different. Pretty much, you have Babylon at the top. That was Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. You have the Mede and the Persians that took over. They conquered that kingdom. And you had Greece that took over the world. Then you had the Roman Empire. Now, the Roman Empire, they split in two, right? After when it fell apart, it split in two. Okay, so what we see at the bottom here is what most biblical scholars agree is the revised Roman Empire, but it's mixed. It says iron mixed with miry clay, right? And their seed didn't, I think, mingle with the seed of men. That's another program, so I'm not going to get into that. And then a stone comes that destroys all of these kingdoms. And so the 10 toes are the new kingdom that's being formed now, right? And the world is already carved up in 10 chunks according to these masterminds. And so out of that will come one that is the Antichrist. Now, we're very close to all of this. I don't know how close, 50 years, 30 years, 10 years, I don't know. But the thing is that Jesus wants to know the season. And if you're not saved, you don't want to go through this time of what we call the tribulation. And the second half is the great tribulation. And pretty much we're all born in sin. And we bear the consequences of that. But the remedy for sin is Jesus Christ. And I know that many, you've heard it before, God loves you, God loves you, God loves you. But it's real, you know? God does love you. And he doesn't want to see you in hell. He doesn't want to see you suffering. We're not talking about a regular life, of a human suffering. We're talking about burning in hell or the lake of fire. And this is very important for you to understand. He came from glory down to earth, wrapped himself in human flesh, and became one of us as far as the flesh forever for you, because he had to sacrifice himself on the cross and resurrect on the third day. It's really that simple. So if you feel God's, the Holy Spirit tugging on your heart, today's the day to really accept this, to accept what we call the gospel, also known as the good news. Jesus Christ came to save us from the nature of sin, save us from hell and death, the consequences of sin. So if you feel that, even if you don't, search it out. Open your Bible if you have one. If you don't, there are millions of resources online for you to get into the Word of God and seek it out for yourself and get saved today. So I want to thank all of you for joining me. I usually don't do the show by myself, but I'm going to get to do some shows by myself, and it'll get better. We start off a little rocky today, but we are all right. And I hope that you guys gained a lot. I'm not sure if you guys had any questions. Let me roll back real quick, not to belabor the ending of the show, but I want to see if you guys had any questions. And if you do, go ahead and ask now really quick, and I will try to answer it. Let's see here. A lot of good comments. I'll go back and read these later. Dean Carter. We got some trolls on on Twitch. Yeah. All right. So I don't see any questions here, but if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Thanks for joining me. If you need to reach out to me through email, you can go to my website or our Gmail. I'd rather you email me through the website because I'll actually check that. I don't reach out my Gmail often. And that's it. Transhumanism, human hybrids. We'll come back to this idea again as we move on, but I'm going to be touching some artificial intelligence. I'm going to be touching on some social media stuff, dealing with the censorship and whatnot, and other stuff as well. So this is going to be, I think, an interesting series for you guys to keep tuning into, and it'll get better and better as we go. So I want to thank you again for joining me. And, you know, Christians out there, remember how we always end this program. But you know what? There's something I want to show you guys. Something before. All right? Give me 2 seconds. There's a DVD behind me I want to show you. I designed the cover and everything, and I forgot the doggone name of the. Here it is, Attack of the Drones. Skynet is coming. You need to see this. Okay, this DVD goes lockstep with the documentary, which is Hybrid Super Soldiers and the Coming Genetic Apocalypse. GetALifeMedia.com. You might be able to get it for free, actually. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not making that promise, but you can view it online. You can stream it on Vimeo, and have a good day. But I'll be covering those topics as well. So thank you again for joining me. This is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Have a wonderful night and keep praying for these elections. Don't let them burn.